Vavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The blessed are those who don't let the this take over the I. Take over means what? Become more real than the I. Yeah. That is what it is. Sat is only the Sat is Sat means that which exists. The only thing that exists is I. This all, is mostly doesn't exist. By the time you say this is, it is gone. Yeah. That which observes the coming and going of many thises is the I, which is this proof. This proof means finite proof. So that in which all names and forms reside, and which is not a holder of names and forms, by contrast. That in which all the names and forms reside, without it being a holder, a receptacle, so to speak. It is the truth of all the names and forms. All names are really that name. All forms are that form. That form is formless, really. This is the truth of this. This is what is the meaning of the word Sat now. That is what it is. All the names are really Sat. So really, this, ultimately, this we are going to have to arrive at. But for the time being, in case anybody is not able to focus beyond this, this is included in the I, because there is nothing other than the I. So what about this? This is a provisional projection of the I, but the I is not this, correct? I is I. This we have to understand. And those that have understood this are seen in our society as worshipful. Why? Because anybody who's been studying Vedanta for any length of time, let's say little more than 5 minutes, knows how difficult this is. It is the easiest thing, really speaking. The knowledge is very easy, you all understood, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You all understood. It's not that you don't understand, it's not that you don't know. But then there are things appearing in the way, as it were. Little specters of thises and that keep me from that. Yeah. Little ghostly, blocks in terms of my own notions, in terms of my own fears, my own desires, that keep this I hidden from who? I. When the I looks for it where? In the this. That is what is the problem. That is what is the problem. Not knowing the I is not a problem, because cat doesn't know I. Dog doesn't know I am the whole. It doesn't say Tattvamasi, I am Ishvara, Aham Brahmasmi, woof woof. It doesn't do that. But yet, they seem to enjoy a better quality of life. That is, you have to be a first world dog, okay? They seem to enjoy a better quality of life, not in terms of how many cushions their dog bed has, not that kind of a quality of life, but in terms of they're not so bothered with the color of their skin, they're not so bothered. They're not so bothered whether they have matching earlobes, They are not bothered that they don't have a degree, an advanced degree, much less a pedigree. They are not bothered. And even if they have a pedigree, the owner will show it off. The dog doesn't say, come on friends, let's raid this cupboard and I will show you my lineage. It doesn't care. And when the pedigreed dog sees the mongrel outside, it doesn't say, I am better than you, no. Better is more in terms of survival and size, perhaps. Really, not otherwise they don't have this. Dogs are free of this complex. But unfortunately, they are also free of having a mind that can quest into this I. So therefore, this class is for human beings, really. Because that's the only definition of what I need in order to gain this knowledge of Vedanta. What do I need? I have to be a human being. Yeah. So is everybody qualified here? Yes. Sometimes it is, when the obvious questions take so long for the answer to come, I start to wonder. Yeah. So really speaking, for the human being is this very vichitra. Vichitra means strange. This strange predicament of mixing up this I and the this, taking the this to be I, because the I is covered. And that is because the human being is conscious of himself, herself, and conscious enough, fully conscious of the universe, conscious enough to make a self-judgment. What is the self-judgment? I'm incomplete, I'm discontented, I don't have, I want, after that this becomes pre-verbal. You start making some primordial noises because it's all the same. This is what happens. And so therefore, the knowledge is not difficult. The difficulty or what is compounded in the knowledge is that the knowledge we have to make space for the knowledge by allowing all these notions about the I. That I is finite, that I is as good as the body, mind, sense complex, that I is, all this has to drop. That is what sometimes takes time to abide in the knowledge. It's not that one doesn't know. After so many years of study, you can never say, I don't know. Yeah, and I was very happy because recently we had a conclusion. We celebrated the conclusion of 9 years of people in Eugene studying the Gita. Everybody got certificates. And usually whenever I would ask them to talk, like after they had finished 1/3 or something, they had talked before, they would say, we really don't know. And I had said, no. You cannot say this, because we had one such a small ceremony after the end of the 6th chapter. I still remember. 6th chapter they studied for a very long time. Am I right? Yes. Because it went on and on. Dhyana yoga, meditation, good. Yeah. So they kept on studying that. For some reason, there were a lot of hidden pratibandhas, obstacles. But at the end of that, 1/3 of the Gita was done, because Gita has 18 chapters. Then I said something, okay, why don't you all say something? Oh, but we really don't know. We know how much we don't know. We don't know. I said, you are not allowed, after studying 1/3 of the Gita, to say you do not know. You can say, I am in the process of knowing. I am in the process of dropping. I am in the process of dropping what? The this from the I. I am in the process of separating from all this. But you cannot say, I don't know. And I was very pleased, because at the so-called graduation ceremony, graduation into abiding of the knowledge, nobody said, I don't know. Yeah. Even the people who thought they did not know did not say, I don't know. I loved that. That was very, very beautiful in people's talks. So here, the same thing I'd like to say is that not that you don't know, but there seems to be a discrepancy between what is known and how the life is led. This is called viparita bhavana. Because what happens is that the habitual orientations take over. What are the habitual orientations? Just go to the family, for holidays. Then you will know what they are. I don't even have to define it. If If you are the middle child, you'll start behaving like the mediator. Yeah, if you're the eldest child, you'll boss everyone around and then still feel unacknowledged. If you're the youngest child, you'll feel like everybody should wait on you, but at the same time, you'll feel ignored and taken for granted. Nobody looks at me when I fall down because everybody else has done it before. Even if I crack my head open, it's not a big thing. So either way, it's, when you go home for the holidays, they say that once you leave, there is no way of going back, really. But that's true in a sense, but that's not true in a sense. There is a way of going back. Back to what? Back to the same old patterns that you have striven to come out of. Because the middle child, after leaving home, no longer finally breaks the mold of the middle child, is very happy. I'm no longer mediator, I'm this, I'm that, I'm wonderful. And then you stick them back for even a weekend, back in the home country. Then what will happen? The same patterns get activated from within the person's psyche, helped by everyone around. Correct? Yes. This is the human condition. This is what is called habitual orientation. Understood now? No need to define it. Everybody knows. It's like being together with somebody that, whether it's a friend or some ex-friend or ex-partner or ex-anything. You get together with this ex-friend, then what happens? All those parts of yourself that you never wanted to see come out. Even after 20 years. So there is obviously a disconnection between the behavior and the knowledge. So in addition to Shravanam, which is listening to the knowledge, I also need some help in reeling in the behavior and making it more in tune with who I know myself to be. I know myself to be such and such, but I'm not behaving in this particular way. This seems to be the worldwide complaint, even after the study. So what can help us? More study, which is directed towards this specific problem. And what is that problem? The problem is not that I don't already know. The problem is that my behavior does not mimic that of a blessed one, even though I know I am the blessed one. In my behavior, I fall short of behaving like the one that is blessed. And so therefore what? I read about the blessed ones in the hope that their, life stories and their behavior rubs off, not just by osmosis, but by listening to it. So that I can use these verses to correct my behaviors and my habitual orientation to be more in line with the truth of the I that is revealed in the Veda. So in the tradition we have two kinds of texts. Prakarana Grantha. Grantha means text. Prakarana means that which unfolds the vision of the Veda. Like what? Tattva Bodha. What does it do? It basically goes from, it's the ABC of Vedanta or VED of Vedanta. Ishvaraha kaha, Atma kaha. What is this Atma? Where is it? It is the truth of the waker, dreamer and sleeper. Who is the sleeper? The one who doesn't know I'm sleeping. Who is the waker? The one that's in between sleeper and dreamer. Who is the dreamer? Who is the Atma? Atma is the observer of all three states. This is like a basic text that is unfolding the vision itself. It is called Prakarana Grantha, the text that unfolds the vision. Then many people will not be interested in Tattva Bodha. In fact, even people who don't know are not interested in Tattva Bodha because they think it's too basic for me. So then there are certain other texts that don't necessarily unfold the vision, or rather, they may unfold the vision, but that is not their primary goal. Their primary goal is something else, is to relive the vision or rekindle the vision in the heart of those who already know. To rekindle it separately. Perhaps the first time you heard it, the wood was a little smoke came out, no fire. It was a smoky vision. It was all foggy and smoky, so it needs to be little bit more rekindled. Perhaps that was the situation, or perhaps the situation was that it got rekindled, all right, but the water of this doused the fire of I, and therefore now it needs to be rekindled again. So I know it, but somehow I need a reminder. I know it, but there are so many doubts yet which stop me from committing to this knowledge and this way of being. And therefore the second level of granthas are called manana granthaha. Manana means what? What you do after Shravana. What is Shravana? That which you do before Manana. What is Shravanam? Listening. What is Mananam? Removing doubts. Yeah. So does Shravanam produce knowledge or not? Yes, no?
Yes.
I can wait. We have
Yes.
time.
Yes. We have to do mananam.
Yeah, don't do mananam now, okay? Yeah. Does Shravanam produce knowledge or not?
Yes.
In fact, it's the only thing that produces knowledge. Yes. Okay. Now this is another question. Does listening, maybe Shravanam is the word Shravanam is the block for all of you, I don't know.
No.
Does listening, in brackets Shravanam, does it have the capacity to produce doubt-free knowledge?
Yes.
Yes. Then where do the doubts come from? You know? My own skull, which starts to think in lieu of the brains. It's called kapola kalpitam. Really, this is a Sanskrit phrase. When the brain cells give over their thought power to the skull, and the skull starts to think, that is when all kinds of doubts in relation to what is to be known and who is the knower starts to infiltrate the mind. And therefore, what do we have to do? Mananam. Mananam is optional. Only if there are doubts, mananam is done. Shravanam is the only sadhanam, only means for producing the knowledge. That one is the whole. For seeing the truth of this I. Mananam is required if there is doubts. Mananam is doubt removal. Okay, doubts are gone. But then what? I don't feel as though I am Brahman. Well, Brahman doesn't feel. Yeah, but I don't feel quite like Brahman. I am not behaving like Brahman. Brahman is so calm. I get angry. Brahman is so collected and cool. I am very uncool. And Brahman is, the truth of everything. I don't behave like Brahman at all. I still hoard. I still get upset. I still am angry. And so when that comes, it's not that I have doubt in the knowledge. I have no doubt that the knowledge is correct and that how it has been unfolded to me is correct. What the Guru says is correct. What the knowledge is correct. But I am not behaving like how the knowledge is. What do we need at this time? Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam, from dhyai to contemplate. To contemplate repeatedly on what? On the teachings that I already know. I bring the teachings back to the mind and spend the life contemplating on the truth of the teachings, because I cannot contemplate on that which I don't know, correct? Yeah. I have to know first, because sometimes there are all these kinds of brains. Sometimes people ask me this question. Yes, what is your question? Can I skip the listening and that whatever that other one was, that mananam, doubt removal part, and get straight to nididhyasanam? This is not a competition, okay? This is not 1, 2 and 3 and nididhyasanam is somehow better than Shravanam. What we are saying is Shravanam, listening to the teaching is the only thing you need. But if you say, no, I have some doubts, okay, then remove the doubts. How? Either by asking the teacher or by standing under the shower. Why? Because the brain cells get stimulated by hot water. Yeah. And the answers come on their own because you have already learnt some things. And then even then, after all the doubts are removed, there is still a feeling that the knowledge is a round peg, and and I am trying to fit it in this lifestyle which is square. So then, if there is something that is not sitting properly in terms of my own behavior and conduct in the day-to-day life, then we say do nididhyasanam. It's not some kind of a contest, and that nididhyasanam is better. I'm not going to bother with Shravanam, I'm going to go straight to nididhyasanam. That is foolish. You don't need nididhyasanam. Only if you say I need it, then we say study Dhanyashtakam. This is a grantha for mananam, doubt removal, and nididhyasanam, to contemplate on the truth of the self. By how? By listening to the lives of those who contemplate on what? The truth of the self. Yes? So this is attributed to Adi Shankara, as many other things are. And we are not going to go into a big scientific study of whether he wrote it or not, because it is so beautiful, it doesn't matter whether he wrote it or not. So the first line, Tat Jnanam. We just see the meaning first. That indeed is knowledge. Yat, which, prashamakaram indriyanam. So he gives the definition of knowledge in the first line, in the first pada, first quarter is the definition of knowledge. Because knowledge means what? It can mean so many things. But here he defines it in a particular way. Yat, that which, prashamakaram, from sham. Sham means what? Quick, Sanskrit students. Sham.
Like Shamsati, Sham? No, I don't.
That's Shams.
That's Shams.
Yeah, I didn't say Shams. I said Sham.
That's like well put together. Well put together.
No, that is Sam. That is a prefix. What is Sham?
Something to do with quietness.
Ah, yeah, you are reading ahead.
I'm reading.
Yeah. Sham, from which the word Shamaha has come.
Oh, Sham.
Yeah. Sham, Shamayati. Ashwan Shamayati, quietens the horses. So, resolves. Means completely and forcefully quietening, totally quietening. Prashama karam. Karam means the cause, that which causes something to be totally quiet. What is this something? Indriyana. Which indriyas? Indriya means what? Sense organs. And also included here are the organs of action. That knowledge which immediately puts a lull to the activities of the sense organs and the organs of action is indeed alone knowledge. It's a very beautiful definition of knowledge. It's so precious, really. Because usually knowledge makes us act. You read something in the paper. Oh, sale here. Then what happens? You get into car. To meet your karma. Okay? At the shopping center. This is every knowledge that we see makes us act. It's a knowledge that reproduces duality, that makes you act. Because that thing which I seek is furthest away from me, and I am over here, and this is over there, so I have to be connected with this, and so I have to use some mode of transportation if it is away from me by time or space. And there are certain other knowledges which you cannot do anything about, but which still bring the senses to a rolling boil. You hear of some injustice. You hear of some workers being treated badly, and you hear of them losing their bargaining rights. You hear of people all in difficult situations. You hear of people under the grip of some natural disaster, earthquake, tsunami, etc. And then what? Nothing. Their particular government is not doing anything to help them. And the people are also being very careless. So it hasn't caused you to act yet. You're just sitting there reading the daily paper or the news bulletin. And then the senses are coming to a rolling boil. Senses are driving you senseless. How can this world be like this? What is this? You've not even woken up properly, okay? And this is how the world has, you have read the world, read about the world, internalized the world. You see how the world has crept into I? How the this has overtaken the I? I is no longer the boss. I has become part of this. How can they do this? And then the shama is gone. In fact, it is ashamakaram, not prashamakaram. All knowledge is ashamakaram. Because it kindles the incompleteness. Any knowledge in the world, it kindles the incompleteness that is already there in the I. Evokes the helplessness that is already there in the I. Mistaken for. Any knowledge that you see in this world, any knowledge of, objects, any knowledge connected to the preposition this, rekindles either the sense organs or the organs of action, makes them disturbed enough to go do something. And even if you don't do something, you just sit seething in the helplessness, in the fear, in the terror, in the pain, in the sorrow, in the heightened sense of incompletion. Any knowledge you think, you can sit here and look at it. Even something knowledge of gardening reminds you of all the weeds you have not been able to conquer. And the weeds without always, if you are especially a poetic person, brings to mind the weeds within that still need to be, the inner landscape which looks like a jungle that needs to be conquered. You see? Every knowledge is like that. And that's why the Mundakopanishad makes this very beautiful verse. Dve vidye veditavye. It says two kinds of knowledges in this world have to be known. Tavya means have to be known. Dve vidye veditavye. One is called para, the ultimate, knowing which there is nothing more to be known, nothing more to be done, nothing more to be sought, nothing that is to be completed. And what is that knowledge? Self-knowledge, Atma-jnanam. And the second knowledge is what? Aparavidya. Paravidya means the ultimate knowledge. Apara means non-ultimate knowledge. The knowledge of no's and how's and do-it-yourselves and, the knowledge of objects. The knowledge of this. All the thises in the universe. Whether it's a black hole or a galaxy, it's still this. It's an object of knowledge. So all the disciplines come under this. Yeah. So which knowledge is ashamakaram? Which knowledge is prashamakaram? The knowledge of the world, ashamakaram. No shama there, no quietude, no complacency, no fearlessness, no contentment. The knowledge of I leads to contentment. The knowledge of this and the knowledge of I, this is the difference. Now, one thing we have to be clear. So then why not? When the child is 5 years old, you put in KG, right? Yeah. To learn about what? A lot of this. Nobody takes the child and puts them in a self-knowledge class. Correct? You take the child and say, here, go, this is KG. KG of what? Tattvamasi. KG of Chandogya Upanishad, KG of Upanishad class. Tattva Bodha is the first text to be studied at 5 years old. Nobody does that. Nobody puts the child in a baby Vedanta class. Although they wish they could. But, but they don't. Why is that? Good. Yeah, because the non-ultimate knowledge prepares you for the ultimate knowledge. So it's not that the non-ultimate knowledge is useless. The knowledge of the world is useless because the world is useless. We don't say that. We say the world is really you, and you are not useless. The world resides in you. So ashamakaram means the disciplines and objects in the universe become a what? A Vedanta gym. Heard of jungle gym? Yeah. This is Vedanta gym, where to flex the muscles and do your thing there, and then what? Jump out of there gracefully into the other pen. Which pen? The ultimate knowledge of I. So you have to go through the this in order to encounter the I. So the this becomes a means, not an end. This is a warning for people who try to justify being lollygagging in the this when they should have graduated long time ago. Because people justify this. It's just like so many people say, I have to raise my children, I am a karma yogi, I can't come to this knowledge yet. So when can you come to the knowledge? At 50. When you are 50? No, when my child is 50. Yeah, a lot of people think that's when only you can stop parenting. When you turn 95 and the child is, 65, then you say, okay, you can do whatever you want. Because by that time you can't see clearly what the quote-unquote child is doing. Child by now is a senior citizen, okay? Yeah. So what the quote-unquote child is doing, you cannot see. So you say, okay, do what you want. This is the thing. So we have to know the relative weight of the knowledge of the non-ultimate and the relative importance of this knowledge in order to understand the I. It has a weight. That's why the Mundaka Upanishad says 2 kinds of knowledges have to be known. And what are they? I knowledge, para vidya, and apara vidya, this knowledge. But this knowledge finally gives way to I inquisition. That is its purpose. If it hasn't done that in your life, that means the I has been replaced by this. This is the truth, real. So the one knowledge is which gears you up for all kinds of activity, makes you run from place to place, makes you achieve things, motivates you to enter into contests and competitions, motivates you to excel. This is all a process of self-discovery. When I think the self is as good as the body, then I have to outdo myself by running a marathon. It just, that's how it is. The self is as good as the body means then I'm as good as how much weight I lift and how many muscles I have. This is how I explore the self. When the self is as good as the mind, then such a person keeps getting PhDs. How many PhDs is enough? Well, just one more. One more medal, one more article, one more this, one more book. And the universities don't help because there is all this publish and perish situation. You have to keep publishing. And then you write one book, and then this is again apara vidya, and another your book is invalid. They are waiting to just justify their existence by, debunking your work. And both the books sit in the university library. That's nobody else buys. Yeah. It's just there for it. It's just for the, that's why it's called academia. Nobody buys. Fewer people read. Maybe it is quoted, Nowadays they count, even in Vedantic circles I am told, they count the number of likes on a book. It is a Facebook. Yeah. So here also, the number of times you are cited That also you can look up. There is another book where you can look up how many times you have been cited. It's like Googling yourself, I suppose. So, it's a dead end. It's like you're just, it's like one of those machines I saw at one of the first fairs that I went to when I came to this country. They took me to this fair and they said, you drop a, quarter in here and see what happens. I said, what is there to see? It's just a whole bunch of machinery in a plastic plexiglass kind of a column. They said, no, you do that. I said, oh, okay, I'll go along with this. I dropped a quarter and the piston went like this, and there were some wheels that went like this, and then something else went like this, and then it was so disappointing because after a while it just shook and came to a stop. I said, now what? Now you have to drop another quarter. That's all. So it's like the non-ultimate knowledge is like that whatever that device is called, that all kinds of machinery that is not producing anything, that is not leading you anywhere. It's just is pumping things in place, keeping the status quo. What is the status quo? The duality as I see it. Keeping everything separate, keeping the distant objects in their, the discrete objects in their place. Keeping the subject, that is I, separated from the objects. And keeping me in my little pen of discontentment. This is the non-ultimate knowledge. So any knowledge you take every, even, physics you take. Unless you're talking quantum physics, which is really very close to Vedanta. Anything you take, it stops short of quietening the senses and finally allowing the hands to fold together and say, I have done everything that I sought to do in my life. I have accomplished whatever I needed to do. Dhanyoham, I am blessed. Kritakrityoham. This is the final words in the Viveka Chudamani. Kritakrityoham means I have accomplished whatever there is to do, because all there is to do is understand this ultimate knowledge, which is indeed only knowledge that one should seek. All other knowledges are like little stepping stones, blueprints, because ultimately those knowledges just stoke and reproduce duality. And the knowledge of I, the self-knowledge alone, what does it do? It dismantles duality by showing it to be mithya. A kind of a fiction. That this is dependent on I. This world, this jagat, everything that is called this is dependent on Sat, I. That is what it shows. So only that knowledge is the most blessed knowledge, which is not ashamakaram. Ashamakaram means it activates all the sense organs, overstimulated like a 2-year-old not wanting to go to sleep. Are you sleepy? You should never ask, because what will the child say? No! I want more of this. This is the jiva, the inner child having a fit. This is the thing. Inner brat rather. So this is the jiva. And therefore, all the knowledge, ashamakaram. It is ashamakaram unless one sees it for what it is. A place to have, to have a certain basis and gain a certain preparation for this other knowledge. If one sees it as a preparation, theek hai, okay. But if one sees that, the non-ultimate as the ultimate, one is the most discontented feeling person ever. So therefore, the blessed ones are calling you over to the other side of this dualistic duality producing, reactivity producing, a reactive knowledge. Graduate from all this knowledge of reactivity, which reactivate the senses, which make you angry, suppressed, oppressed, discontented, which stoke the discontentment. And walk over to this knowledge. What does it do for you? It reveals the contented truth of the I as yourself. Walk over. It's an invitation. So only that knowledge is prashamakaram, means soothes the senses. it is for which I was made a human being. I had this human life in order to gain the truth of this myself. And when I am put in face of this knowledge, I relax. How can you not relax? Because what is the teacher saying? You are whole. Oh, ha. There's nothing wrong with you. Oh, I don't believe you, but right now it sounds good. There's nothing to seek. Oh, thank God. So this is a beautiful thing. So this is where one has to walk over, because the other knowledge has fulfilled its purpose. So it's not that you stop engaging with it. You make this your purpose, really. You make this your primary purpose. And then, so this is the meaning of knowledge. Okay, if this is the meaning of knowledge, that which quietens the mind and the senses and the sense organs, which evokes in me a sense of contentment that I am, then what is it that is to be known? Because what is it that it teaches we have to see? Tat jneyam. That is indeed its object of this knowledge. That is to be known. Jneyam, jnana yogyam. That which is to be known. What is that to be known? Yat Upanishatsu nishchitartham. That alone is to be known, which is nishchitartham, ascertained by what? The Upanishads. Upanishatsu means what? In many Upanishads. 7th case plural. In many Upanishads, that which is revealed. Nishchitartham, in a lot of Indian languages means engagement ceremony. Yeah. Here you are being called to court the Upanishads. You are being called to be engaged in the Upanishad. Ascertain that knowledge which ascertains the meaning of the word I, which reveals the truth of the word I, is indeed the ultimate knowledge. And what does this knowledge do? The word Upanishad itself describes what it does. Shad is the verb, root verb, which has 3 meanings. One is to destroy, avasadayati, destroys. Destroys what? Samsara, duality, pain, sorrow, fear. And then the second word, which the definition of Shad is that, so many things can get destroyed, but it can come back, correct? Yeah. Unmulayati, uproots without a trace. Uproots what? The cause of samsara. What is the cause of samsara? Ignorance. What kind of ignorance? Self-ignorance. Abba. Very hard. So, if this much is known, we can proceed very well. So, I'm warming up. So, this is the thing. So, that knowledge which uproots, which destroys. But then what does it really do? You are telling me what all these negative, harsh things. Brahma gamayati. It takes me to the truth of myself as Brahman. That is called Shad. Upa and Ni are prefixes. Upa means which is near, nearest. What is the nearest to you? Don't say the chair, the lamp, the computer, if you're watching online. What is the nearest to you? You. The one that is the observer of all. That I alone, nearest. Upa. And this knowledge is certain knowledge, meaning it's unshakable. Ni, nishchayena. So there is only one knowledge that can take away this sense of incompleteness, which is samsara, which is called samsara. And this knowledge alone is called the ultimate knowledge, and that knowledge of the Upanishads is alone called knowledge. Everything else is relative. It's just for the sake of preparation. Yeah. And then what? So who are these blessed ones walking on this earth? Bhuvi, earth. They, dhanyaha, those blessed ones. Ihaha, the ones who have decided iha, here and now, not in some afterlife, they have committed to this knowledge and this non-dual vision of themselves. They are indeed the blessed ones who are committed to this vision of Paramartha. Artha means that which is sought. Parama, the ultimate thing that is sought. What is the ultimate thing that is sought? That contentment, that, happiness, whatever you want to call it, ananda. That is what is sought ultimately. That I want to be a non-complaining person. I don't want to complain anymore. And this non-complaining I is the one that is sought. And who is the seeker?
I.
What kind of I? The non-complaining I is seeking the non-complaining I.
The self-ignorant.
The non-complaining I is seeking the non-complaining I. In other words, the seeker is the sought. There is no other seeker. It's not that the complaining I is a parallel reality to the non-complaining I, like God and devil and they have to have it out. No. That's why in the Vedic tradition there is no devil. Thank God. Yeah. There is no parallel reality. There is only one reality. All that is here, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. All that is there is one reality which happens to be you. And I don't know it. That's all right. Know it. But till then can I complain? For a little while. That's all. So the non-complaining I, which is the truth of yourself, is seeking what? The non-complaining I. So is there any difference between the seeker and the sought? No.
No.
There is no difference between the seeker and the sought. The difference is as though. Now we are getting into a real Vedanta vocabulary. You have to be armed with a few things. As though is a big one. What else? Rope, snake, we have to know. Correct? Then pot clay. If this much we know, we can impress all our friends at holiday parties. So the non-complaining I is seeking the non-complaining I. Why? Because the non-complaining I doesn't know that I am really the non-complaining I. The non-complaining I mistakes itself. This is the self-mistake, identification, misidentification. The non-complaining I mistakes itself for what? The complaining I, and takes that to be real. So this mistake is corrected in the light of self-knowledge. This mistake is corrected. It's not that new knowledge is pounded into the head. No, because the seeker is the sought. There is nothing new there. It's as old as the hills. So those are indeed the blessed ones who have committed their lives for gaining this understanding completely, who have dedicated their lives to gaining this understanding and not to some thought of success or afterlife. Because there is a lot of people who are heaven bound. Yeah. A lot of people who like to go to heaven. Why, I don't know. But they like to go to heaven. And this is not just in Western theologies, even in the Hindu tradition. Even in the Hindu tradition, there are a lot of people who are interested in heaven tourism. Yeah, so you have glossy theological brochures. And this is what it is like. And you have to go here, you have to do this, you have to do that. And the Veda also has its own view of heaven. What happens there? Crows have teeth. Why? Don't ask, but this is a description of heaven. And then what else? What else happens in the Vedic heaven? Who can tell? Concerts. Dance concerts. These nymphs are there. Rambha, Urvashi, Menaka, all these people, they just keep singing and dancing, and you have free season tickets to the concert. Oh, but where did you pay for it? You paid for it, prepaid for it. How? By doing good karma here on earth. And like the American travelers' checks, American Express travelers' checks, you buy them here and you go to another country and cash them in their kind of currency, because this is a trans currency, correct? The travelers' checks. So here you have punya travelers' checks and you cash in on all these concerts. And until when? Until they exhaust, they run out. When will they really run out? Yes. Because karma is what brings punya. Karma means action is what is the result of action, correct? So the result of so-called good action or meritorious actions that secure a place in heaven, is that really a secure security? No. It's an insecure security, a relative security that you better not mistake for the permanent. 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita says, A Brahma Bhuvanat Lokat Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetya tu kaunteya Punaravrittihi na vidyate. Means from here, A Brahma Bhuvanat Lokat. So from here on the earth to the ultimate realms of heaven called Brahmaloka, there is re-entry back. There is reincarnation, there is a coming back, a coming back, a coming back. It's not a permanent, secure place, because anything that is permanent and secure and limitless cannot be outside of yourself. This is logically impossible. So there goes the idea in the Vedic heaven of an eternal heaven. We say there is heaven, but it is non-eternal because it's outside of you. It's a place you go and come. Kshine Punye, same Bhagavad Gita in the next chapter, in the 9th chapter says, Martyalokam Vishanti. After the punya is exhausted, after the last traveler's check of good action, saved a child running across the street. Okay, that was the last concert. And then what? Dhadam, you come back and you cry. That is why we say all newborn babies cry. No longer secure, and you perhaps ask fundamental spiritual questions. What for did I come back? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? What is going on? This is the human condition. So there is no heaven, which is a permanent place. And there is no hell also that is a permanent place. They are there, but they are temporary. A temporary respite from samsara. But still there is so many people who want to go to heaven. We have lost count of them, really. Lot of people prefer heaven because there is some kind of a comfort in afterlife cannot be so bad as this life. This life is so horrible that I have to fixate and focus on something other than this life. And have to set my sights on some kind of an afterlife. No, what afterlife? Even if you go to Brahmaloka, you have to study Dhanyashtakam. To study, only Brahmaji will teach, that's all. And so this is the thing. And so there is nothing other than you, outside of you. And the people who understand this here and now, that what I seek to be free of is what I seek to be free of here and now. Because even if I go to heaven, with this human mind, a wanting mind and an incomplete mind, do you think I'm going to be happy there? No. Because first, heaven is a big place, you have to first go. Then God is like a small pinhead sitting somewhere, because a lot of people have gate crashed at the last minute. They got saved, let's say. And then everybody is there. And you have to first go and sit. And because of your karma, one basketball player sits in front of you. So you have to play dodgeball to have darshan of God. Oh, little bit of God. Oh, little more of God. Oh, little more. Oh, this idiot is sitting in front of me. And sitting right in front of God, you get angry. Correct? Because the mind is not prashamanam, prashamakaram. That prashamakaram knowledge has not, the mind is not quiet. And sitting in God, you get angry. And sitting in front of God, you get upset. And again, if you are having darshan, darshan means vision. of the front of God, then you say, I wonder what the back of God looks like. Is it really a paper cutout or is it 3D? Let us go see. Then you're stuck there because there's a big group of newcomers. Then you get upset. Oh, I'm just stuck watching the back of God. I can't see the face. I can't see the expressions. Then you have to come around in the front. This is what happens. Even if you go to a place called heaven, even if it is real, even if it is wonderful, and even if it is the abode of God, if you go with this human mind, you will never be happy. If there is some place to be contented, it is right here, right now. And that is called iha. Iha means here. And the same iha comes in the Bhagavad Gita 5th chapter. Ihaivate jitas sargaha. Ihaivataihi jitas sargaha. Yesham samye sthitam manaha. Beautiful. 5th chapter. Ihaiva, here itself. Taihi, by them. Jitaha has been conquered. Sargaha, heaven. Right here, right now, they have conquered this place somewhere supposedly different from themselves called heaven. They have it right here, right now. Who? Who are these people? Yesham, for whom? Samye, in equanimity. Sthitam is abiding. Manaha, the mind. Those for whom the mind abides in equanimity, in a certain contentment born out of this self-knowledge, this exposure to the teaching, they have conquered heaven also. There is nothing. Dhanya bhuvi. So even on this earth, those who have decided, nishchitaha, what have they decided? That my focus is on ending this troubled relationship with myself. This troubled relationship of want and self-discontentment. I have falsified, I have negated, and I am committed to discovering the truth of the Upanishad for myself, of the Shastras, of the teaching for myself. They are alone the ones who are called the most blessed ones here on earth. And then what? What about the rest of them? Sheshaha means the rest of them. Oh, good. Now they are talking about the rest of them. Oh, let's see what happens to the rest of them. Brahma nilaye. Nilaye means in the abode. Of what? Brahma. What is Brahm?
Oh, walker.
Wander aimlessly. Brahma. Wander aimlessly. Nilaye, in the abode of what? Delusion. Paribhramanti, they are lost. They are in the maze of wants. If you make a maze of all kinds of desires and desired objects, each time you take a turn, you think you've got it, but it's a dead end. Then you have to make a detour. Oh, not that. Then you come back here, like a mouse, looking for the bit of cheese at the other end of the maze. But not getting it. Why? Because it caught in its own swirl of samsara. It's like a maze. The rest of the people are lost. They are amazed at every small thing which is in the maze. It's a maze of small amazement. And the big and the only amazing Ascharya thing, that is the only wonder which is the one who is traversing the maze, they forget that. And they look everywhere else for the contentment except where it resides, which is in themselves. And they wander around endlessly, life after life. First of all, forget life after. In this life, they are always lost. And you see people like that. What are you doing? You meet them. I don't know, I'm trying to figure things out. Then 2 years later, you meet them. What are you doing? I'm trying to figure things out. What are you doing? I'm trying to figure things out. 95, what are you doing? I am trying to figure things out. Even in the relative sense, they are lost. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know what they want to study. They don't know what kind of a life they want. Forget in the absolute sense of what this I is. And then, of course, on that level, many people are lost. Everybody is running around in mazes and getting lost at every little detour, thinking that they have reached the end, mistaking the means for the end. They wander around aimlessly. And if you've had one human life and you have not gain the truth of what it is. Why this life was given, why the ability of discernment, the ability of viveka was given, then what happens? That life is gone, right? That life is wasted. So then, therefore you have to be born again, because the reason for the birth was not fulfilled. So in that sense also, paribhramantaha. Pari means paritaha bhramantaha, the people who keep running around in circles, they are the ones who are what? The rest of the people. Sheshaha, the rest of the people, and the few that have taken to this ultimate knowledge are indeed blessed, because they have found the meaning of their life. They have an anchor in themselves. They are no longer seeking, and they are here, they are abiding in the truth of themselves. Very beautiful, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah, see? Next one. Then of course the $1 million question is, how do I get there, correct? So let us see how they got there. This is the second verse. Adav vijitya Vishayan Madamoharaga Dveshadi Shatruganam Ahrita Yoga Rajyaha Jnatva Matam Samanubhuya Paramatma Vidya Kanta Sukham Vanagrahe Vicharanti Dhanyaha. Yeah, this gives a step-by-step primer on how to get there. Thank God. Oh, thank God. What happened here?
It's missing page 6.
Yeah, give that back so we don't mistake it and keep it there. So, Vicharanti, this is the step-by-step primer. First is Paribhramanti, roams around lost, and the second is Vicharanti, walks around happily. Like touring a botanical garden. And in the first one, what? Running around like a chickenless head. Okay? So that is aimless, running around. Here is a nice abiding. So how do we get there? Thankfully, the instructions are step by step. Adav. Adav means what? In the beginning. Thank God the instructions are step by step, because how to traverse this, how to get from non-ultimate to ultimate. Instructions are very important. So this is GPS, correct? How to be blessed, GPS. Yeah. So Adav, in the beginning, step number 1, Vijitya, meaning conquered, having conquered, from G. G means to conquer, Jayati. Okay, G becomes J becomes Jai plus A plus T, Jayati, right? Yeah. So, to conquer, Vijitya, having conquered. So that means what? In the beginning, you have to conquer. Alright, what do I have to conquer? Vishayan. First we'll take Vishayan. Vishaya means the objects. Conquer the objects means what? Go on some kind of a spree to hoard things? No. Conquer the desire to stay in the realm of objects. Conquer the desire for various kinds of holding on to various kinds of objects and notions and all kinds of things. From potions to notions, or to hold the desire to hold on to something other than you, conquer that first. Just say, I am enough. When you go shopping, I am enough. When you go to a party, I am enough. When you get into an argument, I am enough. Yeah, especially during holiday season. Now that the election is just over, these are arguments waiting to be had. You can just get into an argument about so many things. And each time you say what? I am enough. I am sufficient. I don't need anything else to buttress myself, to show off, to improve myself, to make myself this, that or the other. I am sufficient. I am enough. And you just try saying that. In any group, you will see there is a very big difference that happens. Especially if you are feeling left out, start saying that. In fact, what happens I find is that when you feel left out, you are already giving that certain kind of a thought. Thoughts have forms. Yeah. So you're giving that thought form. You're giving that thought form a certain kind of a energy, a subtle body. We're giving that thought a subtle body, which makes it become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you give up the desire for approval at a party or wherever and say, I am enough, you will find that people gravitate towards you even when you, especially when you don't want it. That is how. Everything in this world, when you don't want it, you get. Oh, that's not fair. That's how it is. What you don't want comes in bushels. Yeah. So whatever you want, quickly start don't wanting. Then you will get it. You can't fake it here. You have to really grow out of the desire. So adav vijitya vishayan. So you have to conquer a few things. The first thing to conquer, not like William the Conqueror. There was one William the Conqueror. He did not conquer all this. He conquered other people. That's not what we are talking about. Here this is a self-conquest. That is the meaning of the word Swami, the one who has conquered oneself. Mastery of oneself. So you conquer your own predilection to certain things that keep saying, come to me, take me home, have me. You conquer that first. Okay, check. Next what? Conquer pride, mada. Next one is mada. Mada means pride. Mada also is the same word in Sanskrit for pride as intoxication. That's why we say intoxicated by pride, right? Very beautiful. So first you conquer the lure of objects, including notions and beliefs. Falling into the trap of lure of objects, notions and beliefs. The second thing to conquer is what? Pride, mada. Then the next thing to conquer is what? Moha, delusion, self-delusion. By exposing oneself to this knowledge. Then what? Then there is the twins to be conquered. What are the twins? Raga and Dvesha. Very good. See? Sanskrit is paying off. Raga and Dvesha. You conquer. Likes and dislikes. Predilections and preferences. I have to have this. I have to not have this in order to be happy. A plus to you rather than something that you cannot live without. So these are the things to conquer at first, right? So first you conquer what? Vishayan, the lure of the sense objects, then pride or seeking approval, and then what? Moha, delusion, ragadvesha, and then adi padat. Adi means etc. Etc. means what? There are certain things that are not said. Kama has been talked of, Vishaya. Mada has been talked of. And then there is what? Moha has been talked of. There is Krodha, Lobha and Matsarya. These are the 6 evils we say. Kama, overpowering desire for things that hijack you from your quest. Krodha, anger. Because when you don't get what you want, you get angry. Lobha, greed, over acquisition, hoarding. And then what? Moha, delusion, not knowing the priorities in life. Mada, pride. Matsarya, jealousy. These are the 6 things to be conquered. And Ragadvesha is called Kama really. So the Kama has already been covered by the word Vishayan, these objects of desire. That covers desire. Ragadvesha also covers desire. Then Mada is mentioned, Moha is mentioned. What is and Adi, etc. means it brings in Lobha, Matsarya and Krodha, anger. Manage your anger at first. Manage your jealousy. and conquer the jealousy, conquer the anger, and then what? Lobha, greed, conquer greed. So these are the things we have to do at first. Thankfully, we have 24 hours to accomplish this. Because then only we can proceed further. Then only we can proceed further, correct? So I have to be a fair teacher. I have to give time to, especially this is Nididhyasana Grantha. This is all about behaving as we study, so we are. So we are going to take the time between this time now where the class is ending to the next time to acquire this first, and then we can get into the second, what is the second step. Okay? Yeah.
No problem.
No problem, right? Yes. So this is what we'll do. We'll stop here. I will take some questions and then we will have the closing prayer. Any questions are there about what one has studied today? Yes?
I was thinking, like when you're sitting there and the word comes into you through like the news and
Yes. Yes.
and then it becomes part of you.
Yes. Yeah.
And then so the point would be to not let it be part of you. But
No,
if
to
you
switch off the news at first. Yeah.
don't-
Switch off CNN. Yeah. Switch off the news because there is no way that it keeps pouring. There is no control, and that's a very good place to admit that. This is this is for any addiction. You go to AA, they will say, "I have no power over alcohol." They make you say that. So this is what it is. So even here you say, "I have no power over the internet infiltrating into the inner net." Correct? What is the net gain? 0. So, and making me lose my cool. And I have no power, even though I have put the news on the radio or on the TV or whatever it is, it's in the background and I am doing the chores. I have no power to not react to it because I hear it. So therefore what? You switch it off until the ears and the heart, because the heart becomes stronger to direct the ears to not hear it and to not mind it. And then it doesn't matter if it's on or off, you're not under its spell.
How would you like?
That is called Vishaya. That is exactly what we said. Yeah.
But so wouldn't you like want to help do something?
Wouldn't you want to help? You
Yeah.
can help. Yeah, you can help. There's nothing wrong in helping. There are many ways to help. There are so many ways to help. And if you feel you're not doing enough, then that is something to love up because you are doing enough. Yeah. You know, Milton said in the last words of the Paradise Lost, a very great poem, "They also serve who only stand and wait." There's something to be thought of. Because you may not think you are helping, but sometimes we help out of staying out of trouble, you know. Sometimes the little child will say, "I'll help you make the cake. I'll help you make the cookies." Then you give them a little bowl far away and say, "Here, you've been a big help, thank you." Correct? So sometimes it's helpful to just be in oneself is the greatest help. If you know yourself, everything around you just, is alive with peace and quietude. It is said that the Buddha, he was not trying to help anybody. He was sitting under the tree. And for 100-mile radius, nothing was sick, nothing was unhappy. Not the people, not the animals. And this is not something to be laughed at. This is a great help. This self-knowledge is not either or. Either you help in the world or you come to self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is the only help. There's one less person to take care of. One less whining person. One less complaining person. Yippee, right? Yeah.
Do a lot by not doing it.
Yes. Yes, and it's okay. And you probably, you do a lot. I know you. So, I think it's a notion to feel like you're not doing a lot. You're doing. Yeah. But that feeling has to be healed. Good question. Other questions? Yes.
Your answer still didn't clarify for me. How do we remain informed, because you yourself are very informed about what is going on in the world.
Whatever I
And
need to know
not get
comes.
pulled in.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Whatever I need to know comes.
Yeah.
It really does.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't seek it. Yeah. Somebody sent me a video, watch this. I watched.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
The turkey.
And then I sent it to some other people.
Yeah.
That's all. So like that. I don't go seeking for it. That's the difference.
I see.
If you sit back, whatever you need to know will happen. Whatever you need to eat will come. Whatever you need to do will present itself. And then you lead, the life leads you. Yeah.
Okay.
So let there be more Ishvara in your life and less of you. And that is what it is. Whatever you know, whatever you need to do will present itself. Yeah. Other questions? Okay, we have homework. Chop chop. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Faith, please collect everyone's books.